Hello, Keith. This is Heather Newton reviewing your social deduction entry, The Calling. First, let's look at your hero image and talk about that. I think that you did a great job with your art. Actually, this game really has very minimal art, but the art that you do have is really compelling. So I think this is a good example of not investing a ton into art, but still having just enough to draw people in, but not feeling so invested in the art, that it couldn't be redone or whatever, which is a lot of times the argument people will give you for not making art for a prototype, because say if you're not going to publish it yourself, a publisher might just want to buy their own art. But really these two pictures that we see here, I think it seems like they're pretty much all the art you have, but they're enough. And I really like the way one is black and white and one is color. Normally, I've been giving people the advice not to put a full bleed square or rectangular image in this spot above the buy button, but because yours is colored and you didn't put the words "The Calling" in the background image, it's not too repetitive and it stands apart really well. And also the section of the hero image that it's hovering over is completely bland. I don't feel like I'm missing anything because of that block of colored photo. So I think that works really well. This is a really compelling top image, especially for something that has almost no art. This is really all there is right here, as far as I can tell. So I'll say too, I think this price point is awesome, and that you have it available for sale on the Game Crafter is awesome. I chose it as a finalist, so I'm going to be getting a copy to play, so I don't need to buy it, but I'd be pretty willing to buy it if I didn't get to choose it as a finalist and didn't know I was already going to be getting a copy, because $20 is pretty easy to be willing to invest to try out something like this. So good job keeping the components simple enough that it could be a good MSRP or retail price for the game, even after, I'm not sure how much of a margin you gave yourself so you're actually making money or not, but 20 is a good price for this kind of game. So I congratulate you for figuring out how to arrange it with packaging and everything and still stay under that $20 mark. And here are your cool factors. Let's talk about those next. I think, you did a great job of focusing on what's specifically cool about your game and not making generalizations that could be cool about any game. The fact that you're saying moderatorless there is a really, I think the things that you're pointing out in the cool factors are the things that are really cool about this game, because as far as I can tell from reading the rules and everything, it might not be the most original idea. I think that that's probably the biggest criticism that I could hear somebody giving this game, is that it's another Cthulhu game, and yes, it's pretty much more quote unquote pretty much just like Werewolf, but it is solving the big problems that are annoying about Werewolf, being that not everybody can play. Somebody has to moderate it. If you're playing Werewolf, that's not the case with your game. And also, when you're saying when you die / when you become evil, when you're out, when you're quote unquote eliminated from the normal game, you still have something to do. And I think that was really clever and interesting. And that's a big part of the reason that you were chosen as a finalist, is that I feel like you may have solved some of the problems that get complained about the most in what is considered the most classic social deduction game. So looking forward to seeing how that turns out. I like this tagline. This is really evocative. I'm not super fond of the idea of just embedding your rules in the shop page. I could maybe see the argument for it, but honestly, this is a lot of text. It's not laid out. It's laid out as rules. It's good rules, but it's not a good shop page description. I want to see the shop page description be a brief, easy to read, something that makes me want to click the rules. Maybe a short overview that I could just glance over with lots of white space and good headings and everything to tell me what the point of the game is. I mean, your cool factors actually are sort of already doing that, so you probably wouldn't have needed to write very much. I suppose that you embedded these rules just to make sure people would see them, so they wouldn't have to take that extra step of clicking. But it's a little overwhelming to me when I'm thinking of the normal way an e-commerce shop page, like an Amazon shop page or something, is set up. You wouldn't see this at least not so close to the top. It would be maybe listed down below on an Amazon shop page, if you think of that as the gold standard. But I'm actually going to open your rules sheet in a minute, so we'll skip over this. And this is interesting. I did not see this at the time I was judging it, so it looks like this is something that you have added since the judging closed, which is interesting. And it's actually really... I'm wondering how you make that work. This feels like a game that is really great in a large group and in person. I wonder how it plays out online. So that's something I'm probably eventually check out just because I'm curious to see how you make it work. And yep, as we can see, it's just very simple. You used a poker tuck box. I love this image. I think it looks really finished and really compelling. And I think you did a good job. Overall, you did a good job with what kind of stuff you put in your action shots. It is people playing the game. It gives an immediate idea of what it would be like to play this game. So we see both, people milling around together and sitting in a circle. So it looks like it's a good mix, and I'm excited to see how that plays out. The one thing that feels like it's a little bit missing, I guess, well, for one thing, I think the room that you were taking the pictures in was a little bit dark, and so the pictures are a little blurry at this size, which is a bummer. Another thing you might be able to do to take less blurry pictures next time is put a camera on a tripod instead of holding it in your hand if it's a dimly lit space like this. And what's interesting too is my guess is that you played this at work. This looks like an office, kind of. I see a projector on the ceiling, so fun. What a fun thing to do with an office. So again, great. But I also would like to see, it would be cool if there could be some close-ups of people using the cards, and it looks like everybody's maybe wearing a name tag, but it's not easy to see the details of that setup because you didn't do a close-up of a person. It's just all big groups. So that might be some things you could add to these pictures. So now let's go to the rules and talk about that. Very simple, clean, nice graphic design, though, that adds a little bit of theme. Not overwhelming, still very easy to read, good layout to explain the rules. And I think I docked a point for no really specific examples of the way the game could end. That might be something you could add as far as, for example, this person... I don't know, these people are already eliminated. They form a murder party and vote this person out, etc. That might be a good thing to add. I don't think that in your case it made it so I couldn't understand the rules, where examples might have been more necessary in some of the other rules, but as a technicality, that was something that I gave a point for, having an example. And this rule book didn't have that. But still, it still ended up scoring as high as anybody scored in the rubric, so not a huge deal. One thing that I will say here, and once I play it, maybe my opinion will morph a little bit about this, but it is a little confusing. The language you put around things is a little confusing for player elimination, because you kind of contradict yourself a little bit in the sense that you call it a murder party, but the people don't die. You don't say like they're ghosts. You say that they are insane and they're cultists, really. So I don't know if it's a little bit confusing to say that you're killing them, because that's not really what you're doing. You're sort of ingesting them or initiating them into your cult. You're sicking Cthulhu on them? I don't know. You're making them insane. You're making them insane so they'll join you and keep growing your ranks of insane cultists, right? So I think maybe you could tweak the language around that so it's all more consistent with itself and thematically completely makes sense in the narrative of what's happening as you're playing. But we'll see how it actually feels to play when I get the copy and try it out. So again, just in summary, this one made the finals. Looking forward to playing it and giving you more feedback on our actual experience. I love that it's large player count too. It's maybe a little bit tough. To some degree, it's tough to get that many people together, so that will be a little bit of a challenge for me, but I'm really looking forward to seeing how it plays out with a nice big group and how involved everybody can be and everything like that. So thanks very much for your entry and congratulations on a job well done. Hey there, thanks for watching. Be sure to check the description for more information and links to helpful resources. Some links will give me a commission if you choose to buy, and I sure do appreciate the support. Thanks again, and we'll see you in the next video.